Hello 7th standard, welcome to history class by Mamta Shetty. Today we are going to learn chapter 2, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj, part 3. In the last video you have gone through the Bahmani kingdom, which was under the rule of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Right after that, Muhammad Gawan, you have seen that he was a very able administration and then administrator, and then Mughal power. We have seen that Sultanate of Delhi, how Babur, the one who had come from the Farana in the Central Asia from Uzbekistan. He had heard about the wealth of India. He came and invaded India and he ruled up India. And then we will go today, we are going to see, do you know, after Babur, who all became the ruler of Mughal dynasty. So let's start with after Babur, Humayun 1530 CE to 1539 CE. From 1555 CE to 1556, he ascended the throne. After Babur, Humayun. Yes, and then after that you will say he was defeated by Sher Shah. Sher Shah established the Sur dynasty on the throne of Delhi. Yes, so and after Humayun, Akbar, the one of the most powerful king of the Mughal dynasty, from 1556 CE to 1605, he ascended the throne. And there was a battle between Akbar and Humayun in at Panipat in 1556. This was the second battle of Panipat. The first battle was between Babur. Yes, na? Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. Second was between Akbar and Humayun. What was Akbar's ambition? To bring the whole India under his control. After Akbar, Jahangir, he became the emperor in 1605 CE to 1628 CE. During this time, what happened? His wife Nurjan, she played a very active role in the administrator. She was helping her husband at that time. Jahangir was followed by Shahjahan 1628 CE to 1658 CE, as he was the emperor. Yes, Shahjahan. After Shahjahan, the next emperor after Shahjahan was Aurangzeb. I think so he was the last one in the Mughal dynasty, because after his death he ruled for a long time. Yes, 1658 to 1707. After his death, the Mughal emperor became weak. Now we are going for the next topic, that is Maharana Pratap, the opposition whom Akbar faced. Yes, after the death of Uday Singh, Maharana Pratap, he ascended the throne of Mewar. He wanted to be the Mewar to be an independent kingdom. He continued the struggle for Mewar's existence. He did not give to Akbar. He did not bow to Akbar's rule. He struggled with Akbar to maintain his independence. Why? Because he has become very immortal in history. Why? Due to his qualities like warrior, courage, self-respect, sacrifice, and etc. Yes. Next we go for the Chand Bibi. Who was she? She was the daughter of this one, Hussein Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar. The Mughal attacked Ahmednagar, right? And they put a siege. They surrounded the fort of Ahmednagar. At that time, Chand Bibi, the capable daughter of Hussein Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, she defended the fort. But there was lot of clashes inside the kingdom between the Sardars. Internal strife was going on in Nizam Shah's kingdom, and this resulted in the murder of Chand Bibi. Yes. Yeah, this all is about the Nizam Shahi kingdom, Chand Bibi. And what happened? Chand Bibi was murdered. But what happened? Mughals captured the fort of Ahmednagar, but they could not get the full kingdom of Nizam Shahi under their control. No, they could not do it. Next we are going for Rani Durgavati. Yes. Gondwana, which is today we say eastern part of Vidarbha, part of Madhya Pradesh to its north, and the western part of today Chhattisgarh, northern part of Andhra Pradesh, and the western part of Odisha. You can see this? Yes. Yes? Yeah. Durgavati, she was born in a Chandel Rajput dynasty, and she became the queen of Gondwana when she was married. After her husband's death, she was the one who looked after that kingdom, and she was an excellent administrator. A very important point during the means you can say her struggle of independence was one of the most important point in the medieval history. See, after her husband's death, she also laid her life while fighting against Akbar. She did not surrender. Now we go for the Aurangzeb in the detail. Aurangzeb became the emperor in 1658. At this time, Mughals empire were from Kashmir to Ahmednagar, yes, in the south. And then from Kabul to Bengal, west. See, so this much place was under it. And to this what happened? Aurangzeb added Assam also in the east, the region of Adil Shah of Bijapur in the south, and then the Qutub Shah of Golconda. So all these places he added, Assam, Golconda and Bijapur. But he has to face the conflicts with Ahams. There were the people, Ahams, then Sikhs, Rajputs and Marathas. Now let's see with the Aham. In the 13th century, people of Shahan community, they settled in the valley of Brahmaputra. See this area, you can see here? Yes. They were very locally known as Aham peoples, Aham. While Aurangzeb ruled, the Ahram had a prolonged struggle with the Mughals. They were struggling with the Mughals. The Mughals attacked the Ahmas region. What did the Mughal do? They wanted the Ahams to Kannan, but the Mohams united under the leadership of Gadadhar Shina. Yes, Gadadhar Shina. And Commander Lachit Borphukan came, and what happened? See, let's see later. Let me pause it up. Okay, now let's start with it. Aurangzeb, he wanted the Ahams. The Mughal attacked the Ahmad region, the Ahams. What did they do? Under the leadership of Gadadhar Singh. Yes, Commander Lachit Borphukan. And they all had a big battle between them and the Mughals. Ahams used the guerrilla techniques, and that's why it became impossible for Mughals to create a strong base in the Assam. They could not create a strong base in the Assam. Let's start the video. Today only up to here. You will just go on reading your textbook because only now 3 points are remaining. That is in the next topic I will start. Okay? Yes, read the chapter, understand this. There's lots of names, lot of rulers, and make a chart and just go through this all content. Thank you.